Enemy of Justice is a core booster set in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. Released worldwide on May 17th, 2006, it was the first set to introduce a new subset of an already existing archetype, the Destiny Heroes. Releasing much later in the year than the usual core sets of previous years, Enemy of Justice also introduced some banishing support cards, then called Removed from Play, as well as some of what would be known as counter fairies. I can really say that it was not very hard to find 10 monsters to occupy this list. They seem to go out of their way to make strange and wacky monsters for EOJ, and I thank them for that when making this video. So without further ado, let's jump into the top 10 weirdest monsters in Enemy of Justice. And up first on the list at number 10 is Super Electromagnetic Voltec Dragon. Super Electromagnetic Voltec Dragon is a light, level 5 Thunder Effect monster with 2400 attack and 1000 defense with the following effect. If you tribute summon this card by tributing one of the following monsters, it gains the appropriate effect, Batteryman D. Negate the effect of a spell or trap card that targets this one card, Batteryman C. During battle between this attacking card and a defense position monster whose defense is lower than the attack of this card, inflict the difference as battle damage to your opponent. Batteryman AA. This card gains 1000 attack. Wow. Just wow. What an absolute mouthful of a name. He's also got a mouthful of electricity being supercharged by the Batterymen, but specifically Mr. Batteryman D. Wait, Batteryman D. Shouldn't he be, you know, down here? But anyway, just the fact that a whole archetype has a gigantic robot dragon dinosaur thing is weird in and of itself. Kind of reminds me of the Truckosaurus from The Simpsons. Another weird part about it is the decently unique effect, especially for the time, of gaining a different ability based on the monster that was used as a tribute for its summon. Other than that, I can't say it's particularly close to the strangest monster in the set, so it does land at the lowest spot. And up next at number 9 is Elemental Hero Wild Wingman. Elemental Hero Wild Wingman is an Earth level 8 warrior fusion effect monster with 1900 attack and 2300 defense, which requires Elemental Hero Wild Heart plus Elemental Hero Avion as materials to fusion summon, and has this effect. Must be fusion summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways. You can discard one card to target one spell or trap card on the field, destroy that target. Yo, this is the type of friend that you take to the bar that you think will get you laid, but just ends up saying some absolutely out-of-pocket shit. But that's really only based on the name, because Wild Wingman, honestly, I'd still take him out to be my wingman if I were single. Seems like he'd be a lot of fun either way. Anyway, there are a couple reasons that he's made the list of weirdest monsters in the set, starting with the level to stats ratio. He's goddamned level 8, the level of the Blue Eyes White Dragon, with either level 5 or level 6 stats. The only thing redeeming him in that department is that his not once per turn effect is halfway decent, being able to pop a bunch of back row as long as you have cards in your hand. The other reason it made the list is the pun intended, wild design of the monster himself. Like pretty much all E-hero fusions of the day, it perfectly encompasses the coolest and weirdest features from each material that is needed to summon it out. Plus, is that a bulge? And at number 8 on the list is Guard Dog. Guard Dog is an Earth, level 3 beast flip effect monster with 1500 attack and 500 defense, whose effect reads, flip. Your opponent cannot special summon for the rest of this turn. Okay, first question. Is he an enormous dog, or is this goblin guy here just the size of a Smurf? Answer me that one in the comments below. Either way, Guard Dog could honestly be a good tech choice in Prediction Princess builds, if that archetype was really good nowadays. But Guard Dog is both funny and terrifying. The funny part comes from the name. It's not called anything that fully encompasses the artwork, like Canine from the Underworld or something like that. He's simply just called Guard Dog. Imagine talking to someone and they're like, oh yeah, I have a guard dog. And you just imagine a normal ass big dog, but then you come to their house and you see this fucking demon. Quite a shock to the system if you ask me. And I don't even really have to explain why this thing is terrifying. It just kind of speaks for itself. So I'll see myself out the door and just never come back to this house again. Oh, and I'm also moving on to the next entry. And up next at number 7 is Herald of Purple Light. Herald of Purple Light is a light level 2 fairy effect monster with 300 attack and 500 defense with an effect that says, when your opponent activates a trap card, quick effect. You can send this card and one other fairy monster from your hand to the graveyard. Negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Dude, Herald Purple Light, spelled like the name Herald, would be a great porn name, but that's off topic. I'm here to talk about why this little ball is so weird. Well, it's mainly for the aesthetic of the artwork. Being similar in style to most of the other biblically accurate angel-like fairy monsters in this set, yet not being related to either banishing or counter traps is already strange enough. It also just looks kinda goofy, not being either humanoid or some godly, unknowable figure. It's just a cute little sphere with wings, arms, and a crystalline structure protruding out of its ass, if angels even have asses. The reason I put Purple Light on the list instead of the others is the fact that he's more obscure, since negating traps even back in the day was a lot less common than the other two types, and only Green Light was in this set. Orange Light, which actually saw the most play, mainly in Drytron format, wasn't released until 2 years later. So let's move on, shall we? And at our number 6 spot on the list is Batteryman D. Batteryman D is a light level 1 thunder effect monster with 0 attack and 1900 defense with this effect. Your opponent cannot select a thunder type monster you control as an attack target, except Batteryman D. Don't make a dick joke. Don't make a dick joke. Don't make a dick joke. This guy is thick with 3 C's. I guess it really doesn't matter about the length of your D, just the girth. I made a dick joke. Oh well, it had to come up at some point. Anyway, this big sentient battery is actually pretty charming. Just look at that smile. He's having a great time. Like all Batteryman monsters in the beginning, this one's effect is not very good. The only redeeming quality, playability-wise, is that he's a decent wall if need be, and that he's a light level 1 monster, which both have lots of support for. Come to think of it, one reason he's so weird to me is the discrepancy between his huge ass and the super low level. The other pretty obvious reason he's on the list is the whole concept of sentient batteries being both cute and goofy, so it won't come as a shock that Batteryman D makes a middling spot on the list. Damn, first I make a dick joke, then I make a dad joke. Someone take away my microphone. And about halfway through the list at number 5 is Majestic Mech Senku. Majestic Mech Senku is a light level 4 fairy effect monster with 1000 attack and 500 defense, with an effect that says, when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent by a direct attack, draw 1 card. During the end phase of the turn this card was summoned, send it to the graveyard. We go from a more cutesy style angel with Herald of Purple Light to a more traditional yet very odd looking one. Senku is one of a few Majestic Mechs that are supposed to be hybrids of machines and angels, all with downsides at the end of the turn. I have no idea why he has a downside though. Unlike the higher level Majestic Mechs, he doesn't even need a tribute to begin with, so there is no other upside like using 1 less tribute to summon him like the others. I guess they just had to keep him in theme. But yeah, that distinction, along with him being some sort of divine machine hybrid thing, and him being the only humanoid Majestic Mech, earns it a middle spot on the list. And up next at number 4 is Destiny Hero Dreadmaster. Destiny Hero Dreadmaster is a dark level 8 warrior effect monster with unknown attack and unknown defense with this very wordy effect. If this card is special summoned by Clock Tower Prison, destroy all monsters you control except Destiny Hero monsters. Also, after that, you can special summon up to 2 Destiny Hero monsters from your graveyard. After this card is special summoned, for the rest of this turn, Destiny Hero monsters you control cannot be destroyed. Also, you take no battle damage when they battle. The attack and defense of this card are equal to the combined original attack of all other Destiny Hero monsters you control. Damn, a lot of chances to make D jokes in this set, huh? I almost put this guy on my favorite cards list in the previous video, but I just thought he was too strange not to include in this list instead. Where do I begin? From the badass and scary artwork, which has an absolutely shredded, half-naked dude who looks like he just escaped prison, where he probably should be based on how dangerous he looks, to the effect basically being flavor text on how his lore goes in the GX anime. Did anyone else try to make this guy work as a kid? He was so cool to me, and making a Clock Tower Prison deck trying to turbo this guy out was fun as hell, even if not very good. In our scrubby format, where I only dueled my brother and friends, there were some points where Clock Tower Prison's effect when it gets 4 counters on it was enough to stall out, not even needing to summon Dreadmaster. That was my Mystic Mine. God, comparing Clock Tower Prison to fucking Mystic Mine seems like a crime. Shit, I guess I need to go into the fucking clock tower prison too. And at our number 3 spot is Leard the Liberator. Leard the Liberator is a light level 4 fairy effect monster with 1400 attack and 1500 defense with the following effect. Each time a counter trap card is activated, immediately after it resolves, add 2 of your banished fairy monsters to your hand. Yo, is this thing shedding? I didn't know angels could do that. Looks like we got ourselves a counter fairy up in this bitch. Being one of the weirder looking fairies in the set, I just had to put it at a higher spot. I have an affinity for both eldritch horror and biblically accurate angels. Basically anything that is some unknowable and malformed abomination. And Leard over here fits one of those criteria for sure. Having gigantic wings, 6 arms, no discernible standard facial features, no legs, the ever so prevalent crystals that all fairy type monsters in this set had, and 2 rings just kind of floating below his body. Not to mention the non-once per turn effect to just add 2 banished fairy monsters to your hand each time a counter trap resolves, which is pretty unique. And that actually combines the 2 types of fairies in the set, the banishers and the counter fairies. All in all, Leard the Liberal here definitely deserves this higher spot on the list. And the runner-up spot on our list today is Whirlwind Weasel. Whirlwind Weasel is a wind level 3 beast flip effect monster with 500 attack and 1500 defense, whose effect reads: flip. Your opponent cannot activate any spell or trap cards for the rest of this turn. Oh lord, he coming. Dude, how can you not think this thing is one of the funniest and weirdest monsters in the game, let alone this set? It's even got a damned scarf. Beside the fact that it's a rodent riding a tornado, his flip effect is decently unique, basically being a lockdown on all opponents' back row for the rest of the turn. If it wasn't so slow, I could see this card being played in a lot of stun strategies. Paired with Guard Dog from earlier in the video, you got yourself quite the shutdown of pretty much anything your opponent wants to do, but that's only in a perfect world. And in a perfect world, we wouldn't have crazy weasels trying to destroy everything you've ever loved, but we still have one more wacky monster to talk about, so let's jump into it. The final entry, don't jump into the tornado. And the winner of the weirdest monster in Enemy of Justice goes to Searchlight Man. Searchlight Man is a light level 3 machine flip effect monster with 1000 attack and 1000 defense with this effect: flip. Your opponent cannot set or flip face down any cards for the rest of this turn. Oh, is this the guy who gives off the bat signal? Imagine that he's wanted to be a superhero ever since he was assembled, and one day they all decide that, yeah, he's just gonna let Batman know when he's needed for action. Such a sad and lonely existence way up in the hills outside the bustling city. Both grim and a little goofy. Like, come on, folks. A robot humanoid covered in searchlights? It's just so fucking random and bizarre that I don't even know what else to say about it. I guess if you can somehow get off his effect, Whirlwind Weasel's effect, and Guard Dog's effect, you can really stick it to your opponent, but that's a big if. I also didn't even mention how they wrote this guy's name. Searchlight Man, all one word. Man, they really made it easy for me to pick the number 1 spot on this list, huh? Well, folks, we've completed yet another core set in the game. Next up, we've got an absolute banger of a set, which may or may not include a certain monster that Farfa viewers may explode with laughter at. Hint, hint. But anyway, that's it for my time, guys. Remember to like the video, subscribe if you're new here to become a scrub-scriber, as well as becoming a channel member if you can afford it, at least. And also make sure to comment down below what you think the weirdest monsters are in Enemy of Justice. And I will see you guys next time.